Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am back today with a Valentine's Day crochet pattern. In this case, a little love letter pillow. In my last video, I made one for my cats, crochet cat toys. So I decided I needed a bigger one to decorate my house. I'll walk you through every step in this video, from crocheting the shapes to adding the stamp detail and how to embroider the front phrase as well. So if you'd like to make one, grab your hooks and your yarn and let's get started. Here's all the materials I used to make this pillow. I use chenille yarn. In this particular case, it's Bernat Blanket in white. And crochet or pillow, I used a 7mm hook. I will also do details with light yarn, and in that case, I used a 3mm hook. And this is optional as well, but I decided to make different size hearts for the front of the pillow, and I used a 2.5mm hook and a 3.5mm hook as well. For the yarn, it's light yarn. I use a dark pink, a light pink. Also decided to use a red, and I will use black for the embroidery in the front of the pillow. You'll also need a stitch marker, some scissors, some stuffing material, and some needles. Okay, so now we're ready to crochet, and we're going to start with the front and the back of the envelope. So we're going to do a rectangle, and we're going to do two. To start our first rectangle, we're going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 26. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So this is our first starting chain of 26. For our first row, we're going to find the second chain from the hook. So it's the second chain. You can see the first one closest to the hook, and the second chain, I'm going to insert my hook there. And we're going to do one single crochet in every stitch. So that means we're going to end up with 25. So that's my second one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. the last stitch. At the end, so this is our first row completed. And now that we're at the end of the row, we're going to chain one and turn our work. And for the rest, it's really easy. We basically repeat that pattern until row 14, till that's completed. So you're just doing one single crochet in every stitch. Here I like to crochet over my tail on the second row, so I don't have to weave it in later. But yeah, one single crochet in every stitch, keeping it 25. At the end of the row, you chain one and turn. So we do that from row 2 until you completed row 14. So this is the end of row 14. This is what your piece should look like. At the end of row 14, you don't need to chain. You're ready to cut your yarn, and we're going to need to make a second piece. So this is the front of the envelope, and we're going to need a second piece for the back of the envelope. Here I'm just going to weave my ends, weave in my ends. I'm going to use a crochet hook to help me weave in my ends. And then I'll show you how to do the flap of the envelope. Okay, so for the flap of the envelope, it starts the same way as the envelope itself, the back and front. We're gonna start with a slip knot and chain 26 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And again here we're going to find the second chain from the hook. The first, second, insert your hook in the second chain from the hook and single crochet 25. So one single crochet in each stitch for 25. Now that we're done with the first row, we have 25 stitches. We're going to chain one, turn our work, and we're going to do a decrease. So using the first 2 stitches, we're going to insert a hook, which have 3 loops on your hook, and do a decrease on the first 2 stitches. Then we're going to single crochet in 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Now you have 2 stitches left at the end of this row, and in those last 2 we're going to do a decrease. So you insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, go back in the second stitch, yarn over. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and yarn over, go through all 3, you got your decrease. Then we chain 1 and we turn our work. For row 3, we're again going to start with a decrease. So inserting a hook in the first stitch, inserting a hook in the second stitch, yarn over, go through all 3 for a decrease in the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Again, you should have 2 stitches left, and we're going to do a decrease in those last 2. Okay, so we've chained 1 turn. For row 4, we're going to do a decrease again in the first 2 stitches, followed by 17 stitches, single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have 2 left. I'm going to do a decrease using the last 2 stitches. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. For row 5, again we're going to start with a decrease. The first 2 stitches, we're going to do our decrease, followed by 15 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and we have 2 left, which we're going to do a decrease, then chain 1 and turn. So we continue the pattern for row 6, starting with decrease, followed in this case by 13 single crochets. That's our decrease. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 2 stitches left. We do a decrease in the last 2. We chain 1 and turn our work. For row 7, we're going to do our decrease again, followed by 11 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We have 2 stitches left in which we're going to do our decrease, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn. We continue this pattern. Next up is this decrease, followed by 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 2 stitches left. We do our decrease in the last 2. Chain 1 and turn. Row 9, again decrease, followed by 7, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 stitches left. We do our decrease, chain 1 and turn. Row 10, or decrease in the first 2 stitches first, followed by 5 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do a decrease in the last 2 stitches, and chain 1. We're going to turn our work. Okay, we're almost at the end. Row 11, we're going to start with a decrease, followed by 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, followed by a decrease in the last 2 stitches, chain 1 and turn. Again, decrease for row 12. You have 1 single crochet in the middle and a decrease in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. And now we are left with 3 stitches, and we're going to do single crochet 3 together. So we're going to insert our hook on the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert a hook on the second stitch, pull up a loop, and insert a hook on the third stitch, pull up a loop. So we have 4 loops on a hook. You're going to yarn and go through all of the 4 loops. And that's our flap. So now we can cut off our yarn and we can put that on the side for a little bit, and we'll get back to it in a few minutes. Next, we're going to start with our step. Here I'm using light yarn in light pink and a 3mm hook. I'm starting with a slip knot and I'm going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, here we'll find the second chain from the hook, insert a hook in the second chain from the hook, and do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So that means 6 single crochet. So that's 2. Oops. Try it again. It's my second one. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And we basically repeat that for rows 2 to 7. So keeping at 6 single crochet per row, chaining 1 at the end, and turning our work. So here's my row 2. I like to go over my tail when I do row 2 so I don't have to weave it again later. And again, just 1 single crochet per stitch until the end of round 7. For row 8, we're going to continue to do 6 single crochet. The only difference is at the end of this row, we do not turn. So we do 6 single crochet. And once we reach the end, we will not turn our work. So this is the end of row 8. Just did 6 single crochet, and now we're going to do a border around. So we're going to single crochet 1, and I'm going to do 8 single crochet on the long side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If I can insert my hook. So that's 8 single crochet on the long side. Then I'm going to do 6 single crochet on the smaller side. And then I'm going to go back up again, doing 8 single crochets and 6 single crochet on the top side. Now you can cut your yarn and all the extra yarn tails. and I'm going to finish it off by fastening off. Okay, next what we want to do is join the dark pink into the top right corner. I'm going to join the dark pink and we're going to chain 2. Up next, we're going to do in the same stitch a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, and again in the same stitch we're going to go back to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, you have 3 on your loops, go through all 3. In the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet. In the next stitch we're going to do half a double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, you have 3 on your loops, go through, yarn over, and you go through all 3, excuse me. In the same stitch, you're going to do a double crochet again. And the next stitch, you're going to start with double crochet, yarn over, go through the next stitch, go through 2, go through 2, and in the same stitch again, we're going to do half a double crochet. The next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to start with half a double crochet, followed by a double crochet, and again in the same stitch half a double crochet again. So this is the top 6 stitches. Now we're going to go down the side and we're just going to do 8 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the next stitch, our corner piece, we're going to do half double crochet in the first stitch. Going back in the same stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. Going back in the same stitch, we're going to do half a double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. In the next stitch, half a double crochet. And we go back in the same stitch for a double crochet. In the next stitch, we go for a double crochet. In the same stitch, half a double crochet. In the next stitch, a single crochet. And in the corner stitch, we start with half a double crochet, going back for a double crochet. Finally, in the same stitch, half a double crochet again. And then we go back up, we're going to do 8 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we're going to find a chain 2 at the beginning, go on the top of the chain 2, and you can slip stitch on the top of the chain 2. And you can cut your yarn, make sure you leave a tail for sewing. And I'll show you how to do the hearts next. So here I just wanted to show you I have hearts of slightly different sizes. Instead of doing a different pattern, it's all the same pattern, but I use different hook size. So for the pink one, this light pink one, I use a 3mm hook. For the smallest one, so inside the stamp and the dark pink, that's a 2.5mm hook. And I also use a 3.5mm hook for the red heart. So to make those hearts, we're going to start with a magic circle. And we're going to start by chaining 3. It's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to start with a treble crochet. So we'll yarn over twice on a hook. And then we're going to go through 2, go through 2 again, which you have 2 left at the end. Go through those last 2 again. That's the first triple crochet. We're going to do a double crochet next. So yarn over once, go through 2, go through 2. Following that, we're going to do a half double crochet. We yarn over and insert a hook, go through all 3, a half double crochet. We're going to do a double crochet next. So yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. Here we're going to chain 1, and next we're going to do treble again. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2, chain 1 again. We're going to do the second side of the heart. We're going to do a double crochet, followed by a half double crochet, then a double crochet, and a treble crochet, and we're going to finish by a double crochet, I'm going to pull my yarn, the tail, to close the hole, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch as well in the middle. And that's our heart completed. So as I said, you can do this of different sizes. It's optional. Or you can do them all the same sizes if you'd prefer. So I did, in the end, 5 hearts. I made 1 for the stamp, 3 for the front, and 1 kind of a seal on the back of the envelope. So before we assemble everything, I suggest to do the embroidery in front of the envelope. So here I'm showing you I made myself kind of a guide to know where each letter was gonna go. I just used a bit of red yarn that I had and made myself kind of a dotted line where each of my letters are gonna go. So I tried to do that by finding the middle of the envelope and having a look where my stamp was gonna be to make sure it was where I wanted it to be. And for the yarn on the back, I kind of left loose and I'm gonna cut it as I embroidered each of my letter. And here as well, you might be wondering, isn't a stamp normally on the right top side of an envelope? And you'd be absolutely right. And unfortunately, I don't realize that until I'm about 95% done. So you'll see him a couple of times on the right side, but I do fix it in the end. Here I'm showing you the progress that I've made. I've been embroidered, kind of keeping the center, going this from the center out. And I'm on my kind of last word. So my last word to embroider is you. That's why I'm starting here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to speed it up because it takes quite a long time to do. This is a good thing to do in front of the TV. It's kind of mindless and trying to find the best spot for your letters. Sometimes you have to start over a little bit. It does take a bit of time, I'm not going to lie, this part. And if you don't want to do that and you have access to a Cricut, I think if you want to iron it on, that could be a good idea as well. I have used iron on crochet before, not specifically on chenille yarn, so I'm not sure how that works. But if you do try it, just let me know. I would love to know how it turned out for you. So yeah, here I'm continuing embroidering the letters, and in the end I'm gonna cut my red guide away. I suggest cutting it in kind of little pieces because you kind of embroider on top of it, so it kind of has a tendency to get it a little bit tangled. But if you cut a little bit, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And after we're done with the embroidering, a love letter for you, we'll be assembling everything. So the next thing I did was to attach my heart to the stamp, and now I'm going to attach my stamp to the wrong side of the envelope. I don't fix that until later. But yeah, here if you put it, well, you can put it wherever side you want, but typically a stamp is on the right side, and I put it on the right side at the end. So here just make sure to put your stamp on, and then we're going to attach the three pieces together, three pieces of the envelope together. So next what we want to do is take the flap back, and we're going to join back our chenille yarn on a top left corner, or kind of going down on the side corner, and we're going to single crochet on the two smaller sides of the envelope, going down and then going up. Just one single crochet to create a border and make it nice and neat all around the flap of the envelope. So just the two sides, going down and then going up until we're back on the first row basically at the top right corner. Okay, now that we reached the corner, we're going to gather our other pieces. So we're going to put the wrong sides facing each other and flip them around. So the front of the envelope is on the front, and we have the flap on the back. Now we have the corner. I'm going to go into the actual first stitch of the first row. I'm also going to go through the first stitch of the back of the envelope and the first stitch of the front of the envelope, and I'm gonna single crochet all three layers together. So it's my first single crochet, and on the top on the first row we had 25 stitches, so we should still be around 25 stitches. We're gonna go through basically each of the stitch on the top row, going through the three layers to attach those together. So one single crochet in every stitch, going through 3 layers all at once. Okay, so we reached the end of the top row. To make our corners nice and neat, we're gonna do 2 extra single crochet in the corner stitch, make nice angles at our corners. So I did 1 already, and we're gonna do 2 more. 1, 2, to make our corners nice and sharp. And now we're gonna continue. I have a little bit of the flap that continues down on the smaller side of the envelope, the short side of the envelope. So I'm going to do a couple more stitches going through the 3 layers. And then I'm going to continue crocheting around the back and the front of the envelope. So the rectangles, we're going to do the rectangles together, crocheting the front and the envelope, this time going through 2 layers until we're going to leave, until we're almost done, but we're going to stop before that to stuff. So I've done the top side, the first short side, the long side at the bottom, and now I've done a little bit of the other short side. I'm going to stop here and stuff, make sure it's nice and nicely stuffed. Nice, your pillow has a nice shape. And then I'm going to continue closing up the rest of the envelope. Just like the other side, there's a little bit of the flap that overlaps the top short side, and I make sure to grab this my 3 and go back to my 3 layers to single crochet to finish the envelope. And as soon as you're done, you can cut your yarn, cut all the excess as well, and weave in your yarn. And I'll show you the last of the details after that. Okay, so our 3 pieces of envelope is attached, but the flap is still open. So to close that, I did some stitching. I just did a running stitch, very loose running stitch with a contrasting color. So I have a pale pink here. And I just went down and used my needle and yarn to go down, grabbing the back of the envelope and the flap together, so that the flap of the envelope would not be loose and open. And then I continue that pattern all around the rectangle of the envelope to finish off as well. And it's finally at that stage she realizes that she put her stamp on the wrong side. So I took it off and attached it to the top right side of my envelope. Not that it really mattered really in the end. But then I thought my left side looked a bit bare, so I decided to add some hearts to finish it off. So in the end, I added 3 little hearts on the front and 1 on the back here, kind of as a seal. I'm just gonna, all we have left to do is attach the hearts, and our envelope and our love letter is all done just in time for Valentine's Day, hopefully. If you are looking for more tutorial, Valentine's Day crochet tutorial, or any seasonal tutorial, be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my blog. I have patterns for absolutely every season. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or comment. That would help my channel tremendously. Lastly, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have lots of fun making this project, and I'd love to see your creations if you create one. So be sure to tag me on Instagram and on social media. I will link all the links in the description box as well as my blog. Again, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.